Back in 2004, when I was training with the Ziegler Group, one of the main focusing points that we trained on was how to deal with butts. Get your mind out of the gutter. I'm not talking about booty butts. I'm talking about sales and marketing butts. The butts that we run into clients every day that frustrate us, make us quit, and make us fall shy of our quotas. I'm talking about number one being the excuse butt. You know, this butt is a little bit easier to deal with unless you're just not that savvy at sales and marketing yet. The excuse butt is, I would love to buy your product, but I just don't have the money. I would love to show up for the appointment, but I don't have the time, right? So it's at this point in time you have to realize you don't know the client enough and they don't know you enough for them to invest in you. Look, nobody's going to give you any money unless they know that you care about them. There's an old saying that says, nobody cares about you unless they know that you care about them, right? It's true. You have to follow that rule in sales and marketing. So to get over the excuse but, which is usually money, time, or spouse, all you have to do is rewind, go back to fact finding, learn about their kids, learn about their animals, learn about their hopes, dreams, and goals. And if you can accomplish that, you will overcome that but almost 9 times out of 10. So now let's move on to the next type of but. This type of but is the reason but. This one is more difficult to overcome. Most salespeople don't know how to handle it, and they just accept it for what it is. The reason but is somebody who likes your product, but has a reason, an actual reason. It's not an excuse not to buy it. This could be something like, Mike, I would love to purchase your product, but my wife just got sick, and we had about $5,000 in medical bills. There's just absolutely no way that we could afford it right now. Check back with us next year. Now, there's 2 ways that I can approach this, with sympathy and with empathy, and there is a difference. Sympathy, I'm going to place myself in that person's shoes. I'm going to say, well, I've had $1 million in medical bills. I know what this is like. I don't know where they're going to get the money. It's not fair for me to ask this from them. Empathy is taking a look at this situation from a financial expert's point of view and saying, look, they don't have any money. If they don't invest in this, then they're dry in 6 months. And if I don't tell them that, they're going to find out the hard way. So at least give them the option and make up their own, so they can make up their own mind. That is empathy. And you've got to be able to give that to the person when they have a reason but. Okay, so again, a reason but is somebody who truly loves you. They love the product. There's trust there, but they have a reason. So what that means is you need to get your problem-solving cap or your problem-solving beanie on, and you need to solve their problem, whether it be money problem, time problem, space problem, whatever it is. If you solve their problem, they will purchase your product, bar none, because people enjoy being around people who can solve their problems. So the third type of but is the hardest to overcome. And to be honest with you, most of the time you just can't overcome it. And you experience it every day. You experience it with your family. You experience it with your friends, your coworkers, your bosses. You experience it everywhere. And as human beings, you almost are defenseless against it. There's nothing that you can do because we are trained to forgive people. It is in our mind, whether, it doesn't matter race, religion, it doesn't matter what background you come from, you are trained to forgive your neighbor in most cases. I'm not going to say all people, but I'm going to say in most cases. So if that's the case, how do you handle the person who comes to you with a but like this? I'm sorry I didn't call you when we had an appointment, but I had something come up. So let's just rewind that. I'm sorry I didn't call you, but I had something come up. All right, so you're torn here. You can either be a complete jerk and say, you know what, you're inconsiderate and don't ever come see me again, and you burn a bridge, right? And you'll never see that client or any of their contacts. They'll find a way to blame you, and everybody that they know will think it was your fault because they're the person telling everybody first, right? You're going to lose that battle every time. Or you can just do nothing, and that person is going to continue to not show up for your appointments. So you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place with this forgiveness but, right? The I'm sorry but. Again, these buts are difficult to overcome. So with the I'm sorry, but here's how you overcome that. Okay, you've got to be bold, and you've got to be prepared to lose that person. I'm going to say that again because I didn't say client here, because you can use this in any situation. You've got to be prepared to lose that person. In a client sense, what I mean by that is you've got to call them out, and you've got to stand your ground, and you got to let them know that you're a professional, and you got to let them look, hey, I understand you're busy. I'm busy too. So if you need to cancel, just call me, shoot me a text, leave me a message, send me an email, send up a smoke signal. I don't care what you do. Just let me know so that way I can give somebody else the time that I had for you. Could you please do that? And the reason I said that you have to be prepared to lose somebody in that situation is because 9 times out of 10, that person could take offense to that. And if they do, you're never going to hear from them again. They're never going to call you back, and you could lose that person. So if you try this tactic with a family or a friend member, and you try to take that hard line with them, it may not work out well for you. So what it basically means is you've gotten to a point where you're ready to sever the relationship. Because when people can just throw the word I'm sorry and then to follow it up with a but, which is nothing but an excuse, you're never going to make a sale in the first place. You're never going to have a solid relationship in the first place. Okay? So keep track of the buts. You got to understand what type of but you're dealing with. Are you dealing with an excuse? Are you dealing with a reason? Or are you dealing with an I'm sorry? You need to categorize them. You need to keep track of them. And you need to learn to overcome them. Because if you can, then you will find the solution to your sales problem. So identify what type of but you're dealing with. Try the tactics that we've gone over in this boiler room session. And continue to tune in every Monday or Tuesday to these boiler room sessions, whether they're recorded, whether they're live, no matter what the outlet is. These are income generating training sessions. These are things that I use on a daily basis to identify what works and what does not work inside of the sales psychology field. And have a little bit of fun with it. You know, you've got kids, you've got spouses, show them this video. And when people start saying the word but, call them out. Start playing with it. See if it works. And give me your feedback. So with that, I'd like to thank you for tuning in to this late night or early morning boiler room session. Tune back in next week where we're going to have more tidbits on sales psychology, how to close the deal, and how to make sure you're getting your return on investment in whatever you are putting your time, energy, and money into. So I'm Mike Wilkinson with Protecting Your Poverty. Thanks for watching this video. We hope you got something out of it. Talk to you soon.